Hi everyone, welcome to this episode of Building a Better Sefton, where we're just going to talk about why we're doing it. We've mentioned this briefly in the Sean Halsall episode, but we're going to talk in a bit more detail. So I'm Tim Short. David Moorhead, how are you today?
I'm very good, thank you. It's a lovely summer's day in Sefton, which is not to be sniffed at, it's to be appreciated. It's great.
Absolutely. Take it while you get it. And we spoke about this a while ago. We've done podcasts before, and we spoke about this for a while. We've got a similar background in teaching. We were both members of the trade union, the NEU, National Education Union, and both of us are quite creative, and I think both of us are quite community-minded, and we came together because we were a little bit concerned about some aspects of life in Sefton. And we wanted to kind of put out an interview news platform to talk about some of the issues that are affecting Sefton overall. Obviously, we go from Southport in the north down to Bootle in the south, and inland a bit to McCall. It's a funny shaped little borough, really, Sefton, isn't it? Just north of Liverpool. But we feel that there's a lack of quality news out there. There's a bit of a news desert. Obviously, some of the local newspapers have disappeared. I did a Google search recently, and there was a bit of info on Sefton in the Liverpool Echo. There was a little bit on the Sefton Council website, which is obviously going to be quite positive about things. There was a few other little bits and bobs, like the Sefton Bubble, this like little website thing that you can find online. But really, there's a lack of, I think, quality news that covers what goes on in Sefton. And we got together to do something about it, didn't we?
We did indeed. I think also we're all very concerned about the shape of the world and the shape of our neighbourhood. And I think we can't sit on our laurels and think life would just be good. I think we have to really invest and work hard and commit to building community. And the idea is building a better Sefton, a Sefton that all of us want. And I found in particular that you get clips of politicians saying about 30 seconds of something, and that's it, that nothing is really discussed in detail. I'm not sure if we've lost the ability or we don't appreciate the value of listening. And these are why these interviews are really good, so we can find out what is going on, what people are thinking. We've got the Conservatives coming on, we've got Liberal Democrats, we've got the Green Party, we've got Labour, and hopefully we can see what they've got to say, and their collected wisdom should propel us for a better Sefton if they're ready to work together and the best ideas are taken rather than just the one that's got the majority vote.
Absolutely. And I think what we're looking to do is get people involved in what you might call formal politics, but also speak to people in community groups, media, business, and just people across Sefton who might not necessarily be councillors or in political positions. And I think speaking to different parties as well, we've discussed where we both come from. We're going to get people on who maybe we don't necessarily agree with their party overall, but we'll hear what they've got to say about local issues and see what we can find out and discover to try and get consensus. Because I think that one of the excellent points that was raised by Bobby Brennan when he came on, former Sefton Mayor and former Labour councillor, is the cabinet government where 8 people are effectively making the decision, and then there's a whipping system. And if you've got one party dominating, you don't always get the accountability and transparency that we might expect. And we're all big on building a better Sefton, on accountability, transparency, the sharing of facts, looking at different people's opinions, but also trying to combat the rise of extremism that led to the riots in Southport last year, to stop those kinds of things happening and becoming more mainstreamed. And that's what we're very, very concerned about. And I think the guests that we've had on so far and the guests we're looking to get on in the future, it is really exciting to get all of those people together on one platform and to speak to them. And we want it to be a safe space for people to come on as well. There's a lot of people I think may be in positions of power go, we've got nothing to gain from going on podcasts and speaking to people where we're not in control of things. But we want it to be a safe space for people. But that doesn't mean that we're not going to be holding people to account for things, because at the end of the day, that's what Sefton deserves, particularly in reference to things like the children's services, which I know you've been involved in. There's been huge criticisms levelled at Sefton's children's services over the last few years, and that's something that we really want to address, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think for a borough building a better Sefton, right, the children are the future. What's happening in schools, what's happening in social care, and it's got to be quality education. It's got to be quality care, and there is no reason why it can't be. Right? You know, it needs a lot of discussion, it needs a lot of investment, it needs training, and it needs respect as well. And I really feel that the children's services since 2016 have lacked that. That's why I'm in a group called Voice of the Families. It's over 600 families in Sefton who have turned to children's services and not been given the vital support that they found. It's just been an abyss. But the problem is, if you don't get the support, problems grow, they multiply. So, you know, we're not building a better Sefton, we're actually then going to create a worse Sefton. So hopefully the idea is to put the focus on children's services so they can improve, you know. Absolutely. And not improve from, I mean, the Ofsted report's coming out soon. I don't know what it will say. They were inadequate. If they improve to requires improvement, that's not a victory. We want good. We don't want to live in a borough that requires improvement.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the children's services, as well as supporting young people in education, providing care for people as well, that's the other aspect of it. And we're going to thoroughly examine what comes out in the latest Ofsted report. Both of us are also mindful as ex-teachers, you do need to be careful with Ofsted reports. You often have to read between the lines. Often things are missed. Sometimes they can be overly harsh, etc., etc. But we'll be looking at all of those facets when that report comes out. And the other thing as well, which was interesting in the Bobby Brennan interview, Bobby was formerly in charge of children's services some years ago, and he was very concerned about the decline. But he said he had Richard Hands, a Liberal Democrat councillor in Sefton, checking on things. And Richard Hands is someone I've worked with through the NEU, and he's also a councillor who invited me and some children from the school I worked at to go to the action committees in Southport Town Hall between the councillors in Southport. And he was a great man. And to get good people, regardless of their party background, keeping an eye on things and working with other parties, I think that's essential for Sefton moving forward.
Absolutely. I think it is quality staff. And why shouldn't we have quality staff in Sefton?
Totally.
I mean, the Voice of the Families, when Ofsted came around, and I agree, Ofsted, some of its views can be subjective, but it should be based on actual investigation and data, etc. Parents are invited to give their views, and the head of children's services wrote to our group to say don't. So we were silenced, but surely in a democracy, every view counts.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was quite taken aback that we got a letter from him saying, I don't think your group should be speaking to Ofsted.
That's very worrying, isn't it?
That is, you know, because basically, if children's services do their job well, then the complaints will decrease. And it's good for everyone.
I think fitting into that was the excellent points that Sean Halsall raised about community assemblies, which he's been running in. He's part of a group, he's an independent ex-Labour councillor, he's part of a group called Southport Community Independence.
Yeah.
And they run community assemblies locally where people can come and voice their concerns. And it's been so effective that Patrick Hurley, the Labour MP in Southport, has actually started running something similar. Now, as far as I'm concerned, that's great. If one thing has led to the other by someone from another party that involves more community participation, that's great. And that's what we want to encourage. And also, Sean said that the people who come, he said, I thought I might have people coming with some extreme opinions. He said, actually, they were very, very, moderate and constructive. They weren't people just coming to have a go. And he said he heard a lot of good things through those community assemblies.
I was going to say, and the other good thing about the podcast series is we're not just going to do the political parties or people who've left politics. We're also going to move to other groups, because there are so many wonderful, wonderful community groups in Sefton that are doing such fantastic voluntary work, and they are building a better Sefton. So I think we've got the Bootle Action Group coming on. We've got Friends of Palestine, and loads more will be coming to explain, because often I feel the media, especially the main national media, pigeonhole, they box, they label, and you don't get chance to hear in detail. And I think if anyone listening wants to come on and talk about their group or their views, that would be brilliant. Because at the moment we're deciding, but we're welcoming anyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And just on that note, we set up a crowdfunder, which you'll find in the notes if you want to contribute to setting this up, because we want to expand. We want to get more people involved. We'd like to maybe set up a website for building a better Sefton in the future. We'd also like to possibly set up a news programme once a week with other people doing reporting and providing news about things as well as the interviews. We've got a Substack, which you can go on and there'll be write-ups on there. You can also subscribe to us on Substack to support us. You can support us at coffee.com. There'll be notes, information in the notes about that as well. And as we expand, we want all of the contributions to come in, go to improving the platform and improving the quality of news information in Sefton. And one of the things I've noticed is that there's a lot of Facebook groups coming up, which are great, about Bootle and Southport. In Southport, often you get a lot of great stuff on the Southport News Facebook group, but often Reform UK post on there but turn off the comment section so no one can comment. I've also seen in some of the Bootle Facebook groups some pretty Reform adjacent, I would call extremist opinions. And it's about getting information out there without disregarding people and saying, oh, your concerns don't matter. We don't want to be punching down. We want to be building a strong community while allowing for different opinions. And we want Sefton to be a positive place to live where people don't blame people because they're of a different race or religion or whatever. Again, we can reference the Southport riots. What are the fundamental issues that are affecting people? People are working harder. People are paying more for food. People are concerned about things. And it's about channeling that into positive outcomes. And I think that's very much what we're about here as well.
Absolutely. And I also think it's good that we get to interview and it's at length. So you get to listen, and hopefully the views aren't just off the top of people's head or inspired by emotion or envy or hate or whatever, that they're actually based on fact as well. And it's not gossip from someone I heard from someone else that this happened, that actually it's quality interviews because it's based on people analysing the facts.
Yeah, absolutely, because there's so much nonsense spread through social media. We know the Southport riots is a great example of someone spreading some misinformation, disinformation, which then spreads like wildfire. And then supposedly mainstream politicians then coming on and riding off the back of that and trying to make it worse. Obviously, we need to be careful what we are saying because it can lead to violence against groups, and we've seen it in the past, and we've seen it too much in coming into the mainstream, I think, and also a lack of accountability against the people who are spreading this hate.
And I think to say, people I feel aren't saying sorry. That seems to have gone. It seems to be, well, you can understand how they feel. That's why they said it. That isn't the same. Freedom of speech is great, but with freedom of speech comes responsibility, because your words are power, and we must make sure that people are good citizens. And I think good citizens don't throw bricks, start burning things down. And I also feel that people should be more engaged, and if they felt listened to then and included, they would then invest and feel that Sefton was worth it.
Absolutely. We're also on Blue Sky. Note information in the notes as well. Our YouTube channel, obviously, the more people who support and subscribe to that, the more we can expand it in the future. And also on Facebook and Substack, we're going to be doing some written stuff on Facebook and Substack, and you can comment on Substack. You can also comment on Facebook. Obviously, we don't want things going on which incite violence, hate speech, those kind of things, but we will share different people's opinions. As David said, we want active citizenship, but we want responsible citizenship as well. And that's about thinking about where you're getting your information from and what's the impact of what you're saying and what you're doing. Is it constructive or is it destructive? Because at the moment, there's a lot of social media and people in mainstream politics even who are using this and misinformation to get clicks, to get their message across in an overly simplistic fashion. And we need to do our research and we need to be informed. So that's very much what we're about here anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And also that people enjoy the interviews and like listening.
Yeah, because we want people to be involved, to take part, to show an interest, to make suggestions to us. I think that one of the good things as well is we spoke to Bobby Brennan about Bittlestrand. A lot of money's gone into Bittlestrand. The council bought it from a private equity firm. I'm going to look at this in more detail. And Bobby said maybe that money could have been spent better elsewhere. Obviously, the Bittlestrand, the Salt Tar, lots and lots of great stuff going on there, all positive. But we want to get those debates in as well, because we don't always hear these debates because of that lack of media and accountability. And I think over the last 10 years, formal, traditional, legacy media has really struggled against this more kind of social media, populist, simplistic message kind of thing. And we want to get quality information out there because these issues are important. Children's Services, Bittlestrand, future of Southport, even places like Formby. You go to Formby, very affluent area, but the town centre's struggling. A lot of empty shops there. It's a pity to see. So food prices are going up, cost of living crises, people are worried about things. There are good things going on nationally, internationally, and locally, but there's also things we need to address. And we will be speaking to people who cover issues beyond Sefton, because as David said earlier, the local or the international is the local. All these things impact and are connected. So we want to explore all that stuff as well. So I think that covers pretty much where we're at and what we want to do. Yeah. Do get involved. David, thanks for your time. And
I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I think that was good. That it came from the heart as well, which I think is important. You can have a script, but it's good to speak from the heart, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Take it easy, everyone. Speak soon.
Okay. Goodbye.